Hello, and welcome again to Step 3 of your Accelerated Investor Program with me, Warren Jeffery. In Step 2, you learned about how the power of compounding and rand cost averaging can grow your wealth. Today, I'm going to show you the easiest and most cost-efficient way you can start investing. I'll share my very own system for picking the right mix of funds so you can slash your costs and build a portfolio of winners. If there were ever such a thing as a perfect investment, then ETFs or exchange-traded funds would be it. ETFs are the perfect investment to get you to your first 100,000 Rand. They provide all the benefits the stock market has to offer, such as high returns, and they help spread your risk at the same time. Even better, you can invest in them starting with as little as 300 Rand a month. Now, let's take a closer look to see exactly what you're buying when you buy an ETF. There are several available products categorized as exchange-traded products or ETPs. For our portfolio, we'll be focusing on those known as ETFs, or like I mentioned earlier, exchange-traded funds. An ETF is simply a fund that tracks or replicates the performance of a certain segment, sector, or region of the market by holding a proportionate sample of the assets that make up that sector. So, for example, you could buy an ETF that tracks the performance of all the different financial shares on the market. This is how they limit your risk, by allowing you to invest in the entire sector or segment of the market. You don't have to hope you've picked the one share that will perform. Instead, you have the benefit of betting on the total performance of the market sector. The other benefit you have is instead of having to buy the whole host of different shares or assets to get the performance of the sector, you only have to buy one ETF. And this means you can save a fortune on brokerage costs and fees. ETFs are also extremely easy to invest in. ETF companies offer two basic methods of investing. Firstly, you can purchase ETFs by way of a lump sum or fixed once-off payment. And secondly, you can purchase ETFs in equal monthly installments by way of a debit order through your bank account. ETFs are traded on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and can be traded through your broker if you already have one, or you can trade them through the actual company who issued the ETF, or you can even save on costs and trade them through a dedicated ETF service provider such as etfsa.co.za. In each case, you'd have to open an account with the company concerned and provide the necessary FICA documents, which include your identity document, proof of address, and banking details. Once that's done, your ETF account will be up and running. You'll then begin receiving regular statements updating you of your ETF balance, the ETF price, and the Rand value of your investment. So, which ETF should you be buying? To get your million Rand portfolio off the ground, I've put together a mix of ETFs you can invest in to give you a well-balanced, diversified portfolio that will quickly grow your 2,400 Rand a month into 100,000 Rand. Here's a breakdown of the asset mix we'll be using to build your portfolio using ETFs. 25% in domestic shares, 25% in property, 25% in bonds, 12.5% in international shares, 12.5% in precious metals. Let's take a look at exactly how you can invest your 2,400 Rand each month to grow your portfolio to your first 100,000. To make investing in these ETFs as easy as possible, I recommend you set up a debit order to invest your 2,400 Rand in the following 7 ETFs and in the following ratios. First, invest in domestic shares. To get exposure to the growth of the 40 largest shares trading on the JSE, you can simply invest 300 Rand each month into the Satrix 40 ETF. Second, more exposure to domestic shares. To get exposure to the explosive growth that can be found in the up-and-coming shares trading on the JSE, invest 300 Rand each month into the RMB Mid-Cap ETF. Third, invest in the international shares. Get exposure to the fantastic growth from around the world and invest 300 Rand each month into the DBX Tracker World ETF. Fourth, invest in property. Over the last few years, property companies have performed really well. Invest 600 Rand each month into the PropTrax 10 ETF and enjoy the performance of the market's 10 biggest property funds with just one investment. Fifth, invest in precious metals. You can get the protection and rewards of investing in gold when you invest 300 Rand each month into the new gold ETF. Sixth, invest in bonds to get an even broader asset allocation. Invest 300 Rand per month into the New Funds Govie ETF. Seventh, for more inflation protection, invest 300 Rand per month into the new fund's ILBI ETF. And that's it. By investing in these 7 ETFs as I suggested, you could build yourself a well-diversified portfolio that will make the perfect foundation for you to make your future million rand portfolio. Based on the past rates of return, this portfolio mix would have given you a return of around 17.3% per year. And with the power of compounding and rand cost averaging that you learned about in step 2, it would take you a little over 2.5 years to be sitting on your first 100,000 rand. Be sure to check out the rest of the Accelerated Investor Program to see how you can take your 100,000 rand and make your returns go exponential. Until next time, get ready for step 4. Here's to staying ahead of the game.